Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thank you for joining me today. I'm here with the June country predictions. Now I have no idea what I'm going to do today. I've got no predictions off the top of my head, so let's just hope they come in as we go along. Normally I have some sort of idea about what countries. We'll definitely do Australia, the US and the UK, and I don't know what the other two countries will be. New Zealand's flashing in my head, so we'll do New Zealand too. I don't know what the last country will be. Okay, if you are new, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Okay, let's go to the board now, and it's all news to me as to what's going to come out. We've just had a change of government in Australia after 9 years, and I feel such a sense of relief, I can't tell you. So we had, it's called the Liberal Party, but they're a very conservative group, and, you know, what can I say? And we had all sorts of issues. So we've got a change of government. We've got 4 Greens in the lower house, the House of Representatives. We've also got 10 independents as well, and this will be more representative of the general population. Okay, let's have a look. Card number 1, Australia, for the month of June. This one just comes up. Okay, I see this as a hermit card, being alone, and that's how Australia has been, alone on so many issues, particularly climate change. Now, after this, it's like the top of that peak of being alone has been reached, and now we're going down the other side. So I do see a reintegration back into the world with other nations, and that's already started this week. The day before, the day after, or the second day after the election, the new Prime Minister actually flew to Japan to meet with Joe Biden and some other leaders of countries, Modi, and I'm sorry, I've forgotten the Japanese leader and somebody else. Anyway, it's called the Quad meeting. So this is all about Australia reintegrating back into the world and not going it alone on so many issues. Climate change is just one. I'm sure there's other issues where there's been, I know in the Pacific, the Australian government, I won't say the Australian people, the Australian government has been a very bad friend to a very bad neighbour to the Pacific nations, New Zealand included. So I see that finishing because I think this is the peak, and then going down the other side of the mountain, the challenge, we've got past that. And we will learn from this mistake, hopefully. This wolf here represents learning and teaching others, you know, how to act responsibly and how to be a good member of society and how to be a good friend in your local neighbourhood. Okay, the light is the light of awareness. Okay, anything else for Australia? Just close my eyes. Okay, so I see an umbrella because we have had a terrible lot of rain, and they're forecasting even more rain across the winter months, which here where I am in Queensland, that's quite unusual. We usually have a drier winter and a wetter summer, but I see the umbrella and it's actually being put away. So I do think it's not going to be as wet as it's been forecast. And so today we've got a sunny day, and I think this is only the 49th day this entire year that we've had without rain. Let's see if we get through the whole of the day without rain. So in other predictions, I predict it will be drier than forecasted. Okay, now the next country that we're going to look at is the US. I've got Joe Biden here in my face. Something about eating. He's eating something. You'll either see him in the media eating, or I'm thinking it's more symbolic than that. And eating is a sign of integrating and absorbing whatever it is you're eating. So I think he's, even though he's old, and there's no way of getting around that, he is, really, I think all countries should probably put a limit on their presidents that once they turn, I don't know, 72 or some age like that, that, there's a cut-off point, basically. Let me know what you think in the comments about that, because it's just a fact. You just can't function if you're 72. You don't function like you're 52. If you're 75, you don't. If you're 80, you definitely don't. And so there's something about also with his health, with eating. He's very sensitive to different foods, as is Kamala Harris. As well, I've picked that up before, very sensitive to what she eats. So it's very important that, they only eat healthy food. This is sugary pastries that he's eating. He loves them, but they're not good for him. They're not good for anyone, but I think they do have a pretty negative effect with him. Let's see what card comes out for the US for June. There's something more about that. I can't even... Let me just focus for a sec. It's not just about the eating. It is about integrating energies, some new policies or some new ideas. Actually, even though he stumbles and he had a stutter when he was younger and he trained himself out of that, there's still something there with the stuttering and the communication problems. I think we'll see more of that in June. But his mind's not bad. It's not confusion in his mind that's coming out of his mouth. It's more to do with the stutter, I think. But he's integrating new ideas. It's like he is learning, so that's a good thing. Justice. So the Supreme Court, and in Australia we call that the High Court. Some important decisions to be handed down in June. The blindfold. They think they know what they're doing, but the blindfold's here. The problem is if people don't listen to their intuition. You see here there's an owl on your shoulder. You don't have all of the evidence ever to make a decision, so it's really important to listen to the owl, and this is a case of weighing up the evidence, including the intuition that you get, and then making a decision, making a cut and dried decision. There's a lot of action here as well, but they don't have all of the information for some reason. I mean, they just don't. So I'll just close my eyes. I wonder if this, because this card doesn't indicate which way it will go, but I wonder if it's to do with the abortion reform, or maybe it's not a reform, maybe it's going backwards. I'm just looking for a picture now on that. Some curtains that were closed are now opening up. So it's not, I don't know. I heard in the media that it was leaked. The document was leaked. What was going to be handed down regarding abortion reform. I feel what was leaked is not what's going to happen. There's some changes to it. I'm not saying people are going to get what they want, but it's not exactly the same thing. So I feel like there's something about being that might have just been like a first draft. It's been changed again. Whatever that decision was, it's been changed again in some ways. These have just come out. Okay, very interesting. The moon, the subconscious. I feel like they're being influenced by subconscious forces. They're not really clear, 110% clear what's going on in their minds, because they've got these subconscious energies going on. Again, it's about learning. The wolf is always teaching and learning. The Hierophant, how appropriate, because this looks like legal books. This is knowing a lot of stuff. But you've got to be careful that you don't sit on what you know and not take action. You need to take action, and you need to take action with wisdom. And we'll see how much wisdom will be used. I still feel it's not exactly what was leaked. Okay, so I'm going to put those two cards there. So I just got a shadow now come onto the board, which I didn't have before. The sun's shining in the window here. Okay, let's have a look And what country are we doing next? We're doing New Zealand. Okay, closing my eyes. I've got Jacinda Ardern here with a baby. There's some talk around her to do with another baby. So a second child, and maybe it's a rumour, I don't know, but I do see, I don't even know how old her baby actually is now, maybe 2 or 3, 3 years old maybe, but this is more like a baby. Maybe she's just nursing somebody else's baby, I don't know. But there is some talk about her having a second baby. All right. What about the country? Okay, a lot of green. You guys must be getting a lot of rain over there. We certainly had rain here. It's very green. This winter's a bit different to your normal winters for some reason. It's very windy too. I don't know if you get a lot of winds there. Hasn't really been windy when I've been there, and I've been there like 6 or 7 times. So it's a bit different to usual, I feel. Okay, so New Zealand, it feels quite positive, and I see lots of people out and about, and if it was a normal cold New Zealand winter, that wouldn't be the case so much. So it might be that the weather is erratic, so you're getting some beautiful days and then some not so beautiful days, but that's probably an improvement because I know it does get terribly cold over there. Okay, the 8 of Swords. You have to be careful as a country that you're not restricted or mistreated in any way. And Australia just jumps into my mind. What is it? I think there's going to be discussions about our previous Liberal government and how in some way they mistreated New Zealand. I don't know what way that could be, but I'm just feeling like somehow Australia had restricted New Zealand. Maybe it's to do with trade, so there could be some talks to free that up. Certainly the deportation of criminals back to New Zealand could be another thing we hear about in the news, because I know that Jacinda Ardern, her view is that they should stay here in Australia and not be deported back to New Zealand. We could get into a whole great big philosophical discussion about that. But you're aware, the country of New Zealand is very much aware of this and is going to bring this to light with the new Australian government. I feel this woman here is representing New Zealand in the ways that New Zealand has lost her freedom or has been restricted or limited in some way. All these decisions are going to be made to free New Zealand in some way. I pick up happiness coming, more happiness coming for New Zealand, which is fabulous. All right, card number 4. Card number 4, and what country are we doing? UK jumps into my mind, and okay, so you guys are in summer at the moment, and I am seeing beautiful clear skies in the UK. And people out and about and in the parks with their shirts off and things like that. Australians laugh about that sort of thing because that's just, we don't need to do that because we have sun all the time, most of the time. So yeah, the weather's something about oil. I see the word oil. There's some issue around power and oil. Now I picked that up last month or last time I did UK, whenever that was. And I see that as ongoing. I see the price of oil going up, your fuel, your petrol that you use. Unfortunately, there's a price rise. You'll hear about it in New Zealand. You'll hear about it in June. Yeah, today's the 1st of the month. Here we have swords. I'm actually wondering too if the price of oil or fuel is going up in New Zealand, because that's what come out of my mouth just then. So that could be the case for you. New Zealand. Okay, so for the UK, the 8 of Swords. This is called a thief in the night card. Traditionally speaking, I feel there is some element of truth in this. In what way is there some thievery going on there on a collective level? So I feel like there's a little bit of energy here for being a bad friend, similar to the way that Australia has been a bad friend to its neighbours. I feel there's some accusations there about the UK and other countries, but it seems relatively, I won't say minor, but it's not. It's resolved rather quickly, because here we have the UK moving away from a dangerous situation. So this could have been something that's come up in the past, comes up again, but there's some movement forward, and the government does take some action or do something to move forward. I get here, this is international travel, so I don't know I think you're open, I don't know regarding COVID, what the story is, but there's an improvement in international travel, more people, more tourists coming into the country, more freedom in the country, and things getting back on track, okay? I feel like it's been very bad there for a while, but yeah, there's some movement away from that. Having said that, you're certainly not out, of... there's certainly other things that are happening that are less than desirable, but yeah, some general overall improvement. And anything else, I'll close my eyes, anything else I see for the UK, I do see a crown here, news about the royal family, particularly not the minor royals, the ones that wear the crown, so the actual royal family. Okay, there's a door here being closing end of an era in some way. Okay, major decisions being made about the royal family that ends or closes an era are coming. I'm not sure that's in June, but it's certainly in the next 12 months, and I feel like it's maybe in the next 6 months possibly. Okay, so we have the last country and first country that pops into my mind now. Okay, so this is the number of countries in the Pacific. The Fiji, the American Samoa Islands, Kiribati. This is about climate change, because that's what I associate with Kiribati. They're really going underwater there. And we're going to be hearing a lot about what's happening in those small Pacific nations. And if you're in Australia, we're going to be hearing a lot about, stronger ties with those nations, trading agreements, and what we can actually do to help them. Okay, so all of those little islands there, even Tahiti, which we don't normally associate with very much because it's closer to America, but it's still a long way from America. So let's see what card comes up for the Pacific Island nations. Okay. I actually get the word desperation. They've been patiently waiting. I don't know who this man is that I can see at the moment. I think it might be a leader of Fiji, and he's talking about how long they've been waiting patiently for something to be done. And they have to wait a little bit longer. But yes, something's going to be done, because America's going to intervene here to maybe help them out in some way. So it's not going to happen overnight, but there is progress. And those Pacific Islands are moving towards some sort of solution regarding the flooding and the rising sea levels that they're already experiencing. Now, what you might notice here is that we do have a fair few major arcana here in America. You see we have 3 majors, and this is really unusual to have so many just on the one country. Some big things happening in America in June, Australia also, and in these Pacific Island nations, okay? So that's very unusual to have so many. So June is a very significant month for these countries, and probably the world generally. Astrologically, I've done all the horoscopes, and for individual people, not so much. It's a quieter month, but on the collective level, there is a lot happening. Alrighty, so that's it. I hope this is useful for you. Thanks so much for joining me today, and it's very interesting when I don't have any ideas about anything what's going to happen, because I just had all my predictions have just happened. So I haven't actually got any new predictions at the moment because they've all just happened with the big change of government. And as of yesterday, the change of government, the Labor Party actually has 77 seats now, so it's ruling its own right. Okay, so the government is no longer hung. That's the term that we use here when they can't govern in their own right and they have to, make up the numbers with some independents or minor parties. So as of yesterday, then that's not the case anymore. Alrighty, thanks so much again. Have a wonderful month, everyone. I'll see you all again soon. If you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, see you soon. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website, absolutesoulsecrets.com, for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.